It's another go round of SOT. John, hear you there. Jason is trying to prepare for a lot of things going on this week. And when I mean a lot of things, I mean a lot of things. We've got all of the SDH coverage leading into the match that's happening this weekend in Cincinnati. Mike and Jason leave on Friday and are in Cincinnati, and the match is early in the grand scheme of things. It is it this week or wait a second? Hang on just a second. It's like I'm getting all my calendars are messed up. So looking at hang on. So it is Atlanta and Cincinnati, and we talked about the juice boxes. We'll go over the juice boxes, I think, pretty much every day to see how much change there is in the juice boxes. Found out that Jessica Charman is going to be calling match number 1. Match number 2, Atlanta and Cincinnati. Hasn't changed since this morning, and it is a 4:30 kick. But since it's on Apple TV and FOX, I don't know if that means it's going to be 4:40 or 4:55. I don't know if Big FOX get their super hyper mega pregame show or not. Morning D Graham, or evening D Graham in this case. So Jason has that to get ready for on Saturday afternoon. 929 The Game in the Odyssey app. Pregame starts at 3:30 with Maddie and Abe. They'll get you into the match, and then they'll have full-time report after back here in the palatial studios at Colony Square. Before that, tomorrow, actually, we have at 92.9, we have our preseason kickoff. Preseason kickoff is going to be airing tomorrow, and it's going to be the Cast of Thousands, and it is going to be all of us talking about the season getting started, and obviously looking forward to it. So it is, Tuesday, 8 o'clock. So from 8 to 10, it's going to be Atlanta Soccer Tonight previewing Atlanta United. We're going to be looking at everything that is going on in the schedule, all the changes, all the transactions that have happened in and around the league, getting you ready for everything. So Tuesday night, 8 to 10, everybody's going to be there for Atlanta Soccer Tonight, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. Then the midday show on Wednesday is going to be at the training ground, 11 o'clock. And then obviously Saturday, once again, pregame show at 3:30, and the game and the post-match, full-time report, all the things. So because of that, that's why it is all of us this evening that are hanging out together as we roll through everything. So, yeah, I know. Usually the Fox ones are 4:55. Season opener, yeah, Ricky, you're not wrong. Season opener, they're going to want to lay everything out. So I would anticipate the 4:55 kick since it's on Apple and Big FOX, but we will see. But, yes, so it is all of us tonight, and we're going to talk about referees. We're going to talk about CONCACAF. We're going to talk about, obviously, we got picks of the week in hour number 2. And the one thing I forgot to do this morning, and I beg your forbearance here, is a part of, I forgot to do the real opening kickoff. And this is kind of feedback-ish for all of you and everyone that is hanging out here. So 2 days ago was that day in the calendar, and this is for those of you who celebrate either National Singles Day or the Valentine's Day. The boss and I have always treated the 14th of February, and I guess technically this is opening kickoff, so let me go ahead and get the read in. Opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. See, I've got my reads playbook right here. Start your day with the most important stories in the game and the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala. Heavy-bodied with notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. For those of you that may sample the coffees, Let me know how it is, and let me know if it's worth picking up for the boss. Anyway, um, this was supposed to be opening kickoff this morning, but because of Abe jumping in before I could get any real momentum, I'm going to do it here now. So the boss and I, we have been together for 13 years as a married grouping. The end of next month will be 17 as a pair. And we have always been of the mindset that 214 in any calendar year is more commercial than anything else. And so we have always made a point to celebrate what 214 supposedly represents 365 days a year. That's just kind of how we're wired. And so I didn't I didn't know if in your spheres of influence, if you treated all of that. So see now, OG, you're not wrong. And this is kind of what we do. OG celebrates 215 Happy Half Off Candy Day because um, last night, because of things that were flying around, um, the boss and I were not in the same location on Saturday because we were doing Creek Cup, and I wasn't home until about 11 o'clock. And then she wasn't home. Yes, she was doing judging for the Hensleys, and so she didn't get back until like 8. So we had kind of just decided as the be all end all, kind of like what OG does, that we would just have a dinner together and then we would do the gift exchange and everything. And then we would do that last night. And so we did it last night. And my question is, and OG has answered it, and she is kind of in the same place that we are here at Office HD. How are you wired with this holiday? We're wired 365 days a year. We don't need 214 to sit there and go, yay, let's celebrate. No. By the way, 13 is citrine and other things. Literally weird to the point where, you sit there and you're looking at the anniversary gifts, and our anniversary was back when I was doing the show from the beach back in January. But when I'm looking at what to get, I'm a guy. And so I'm looking at it and I'm going, no, she's not going to like that, not going to like that, not going to like that. And so going down the list, I found citrine was supposedly the 13th, the jewel attached to the 13th. So for Christmas, I got her a necklace, and for 214-ish, which was really 215, kind of like the OG, I got her the matching earrings. I got her the stud earrings to go for the full set. So it's a very, very fallish look. And with the boss's features, that kind of fits, So, redhead, citrine, the whole schmear. It's very, very fall looking. So it kind of fits. So that's what I did. And, obviously what we usually do, we'll get cards. We'll get like one serious card and a funny card. And what she did for me was she got me, she restocked my Reese's for the freezer, which is always important. And she also got there's a friend of ours who is an artist, and she paid our friend who is an artist to commission a work and it's just, it's like a little 5x7, so it's a little 5x7 card. She commissioned a 5x7 work that represents us. And she also got me some noise canceling earplugs because of all of the years that I wear this or wear an IFB in my ear for television. I've got probably 30% hearing loss in my left ear. And when things are high and high pitch, I can hear like a click. And so she got me some noise canceling earplugs, and she got me some Reese's, which always work. And she got me the commissioned 5x7 card for our day. So, well, and thank you, OG. OG says I'm a good husband. She does, and I am and I will be the first person to say that I'm the one who is blessed with the boss. She puts up with me, and she has, you know, embraced this media existence of all of us. And she looks at what we've been building, and it's like she may not necessarily understand all of it by her own admission, but she understands that it's growing a business at its most basic element. So I can't do any of this without her. So to be honest, OG, I'm the one that's blessed in this entire thing, having the boss being what the boss is in all of this. So um, I'm the blessed one, and I would nominate her for wife of the year. And so then I guess in turn she would nominate me for husband of the year. But we don't celebrate 214, because when I was going in yesterday to get the bag for the handling of the gifts, and I also got her a. She's a bobblehead person, and I don't know where this came from. So I got her the Fernando, and I buy things from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. I got her the bobblehead that is being commissioned on Fernando Mendoza's touchdown dive, and literally it is a bobblehead that is at a 45-degree angle with the spring in the side, and it's him doing the dive. And so uh, she's going to get that, but it's not going to be it's not going to be completed till August. I didn't realize that till I read the fine print. So I had to print the sheet of paper, put that in the bag, and then go with the other stuff. So, but we don't really we don't celebrate 214 on 214. We celebrate 214 all year long. And I didn't know if all of you guys were the same, or if you celebrated 214, or how you did that. So that's my question to the floor. How do you celebrate 214? Is it something that is just another day on the calendar like it is for us, where we do stop, take time, have a date, and it's just a date and there is a gift exchange? But is it 214? Is it 215 like it was for OG? Is it just there and you might do something, or let me know. So, and for those of you that practice Happy Singles Day, how do you practice Happy Singles Day? So, just let me know. I just wanted to find out if I was on an island, the way that we kind of look at the 214. And so apparently I'm not. OG is the same way, but yeah, when I went in to get the bag last night, as I was coming back home with dinner, um, it was all the chocolate hearts, or the hearts that had all the candy inside of them. They were stacked at this particular grocery store. There was like 12 of them on a table, and then all of that stuff is there. And I don't know if I want day old, chocolate past 214. I don't know if I want that. But yeah, there's this table that had all like the half off or whatever chocolates, and I just went to get a bag, and got some wrapping paper and everything. And so yeah, just seeing all of the 214 carnage off to the side of the cash registers, I thought was interesting. But like I said, I just wanted to ask how you celebrate 214. Do you celebrate 214? If or do you celebrate National Singles Day, for those of you that may be on that? So like I said, that was just my question for opening kickoff. Since I didn't get to do it this morning, figured I would do it here now. Picks of the week coming up at the top of the hour, and we'll go through. I don't know who won. I sent everything over to Jason. So I actually won more games than I thought I would. Did not get the tiebreaker because I picked Toyota. I think I finished a little bit, maybe been like a plus 50 or something. So, D Graham, exactly. It's another day. It absolutely is. So, I won more than I'm used to winning in picks of the week. And I think I'm on the plus side at like plus maybe 175 or something like that. So I won, because unless Jason has the numbers and he changes it, I won. So I won, yay me. And so the things just keep adding up. So we'll go through and we'll do picks of the week coming up in about 45 minutes. And I don't know, maybe I'll just have all 8 of them on Friday. I might do that. One of these weeks I might do that and see if it slips past the sensors, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll piece together picks of the week coming up in hour number 2, and we'll break everything down there. Okay. That was opening kickoff here on SOT. Brought to you by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Start your day with the most important stories in the game right away to start your morning, and the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend, made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Apparently, the scenes in San Luis are crazy because River Plate is coming to town. River Plate's in town. And so they're getting ready to take on Ciudad Bolivar tomorrow. They made it into town, and fans are camped outside the hotel. I'm watching Teise, and that's the only reason I know this. And you can get Teise and a bunch of everything else with our friends at Fanatis at fntz.co/soccer down here. Yes, Jason just threw something. So you've got live shots outside in San Luis as River has made it to town, getting ready for Ciudad Bolivar. And I think there's Liga 1 bet play. So, Primera B, it's even better. Barranquilla and Deportes Quindio. It's going on in Primera B tonight. So that's halftime. That one's getting ready. And we'll keep an eye on that one just because it's a bet play. And it's a Primera B. And anytime there's anything that's a lower division in the South America, chaos could reign supreme, and we'll keep an eye on that. Okay. This morning we were talking about officials and VAR. And we actually also have a little piece of Atlanta United that could be played into soccer over there. We'll get into that in a bit. But this morning we were talking about VAR, and we were discussing legitimately how bad a weekend it was for officials. And yeah, it wasn't good. WADN''T. It wasn't good. So, a couple of instances, we were discussing the Newcastle Aston Villa match, and we were discussing what happened in Serie A with a ghost red card on Kalulu in the Derby d'Italia, Inter and Juve ends up losing on a ghost of a red card. I mean, it was bad. So we got into that discussion with Bart this morning. We do have some updates on that. We got some updates on a couple of things. We got FA Cup to talk about too. So this weekend, according to Paul McGuinness at The Guardian, Chris Kavanagh has been told to stand down after the errors in Villa's loss to Newcastle. And this is, I mean, this is the double-edged sword that we got into with Bart this morning, where, okay, so it was a bad day, but you didn't have VAR because VAR doesn't happen until the next round. So Chris Kavanagh and his crew, first off, Tammy Abraham was offside. At least they didn't quite have the down the line shot, but it gave the impression that the one still that has been floating around kind of gave the impression that Tammy Abraham was offside and behind the defense, but there's one defender, and you can assume where his foot is, but you can't say definitively where his foot is and where's Abraham's shoulder in relation to that foot. Two other players are close by as well, and so West Ham would score. Great service. Abraham puts it in, and Newcastle goes berserk. So because of this and other calls that you're just kind of sitting there and you're going, what were you folks going? Chris Kavanagh's not going to officiate the next round of the Premier League fixtures. Stood down by PGMOL alongside one of his two assistants, Nick Greenhow. Second assistant is going to run the line with Forest and Liverpool. So the look, and like I said, this was what we were discussing with Bart. Tammy Abraham should have been ruled offside for Villa's opening goal. In theory, that is true. But once again, you don't have definitive down-the-line look. High tackle by Luca Digne on Jacob Murphy. Was not adjudged to be reckless. Digne handled the ball inside the Villa penalty area. Kavanagh awarded a free kick outside of the box instead of a penalty. The Zapruder film I saw on that, I want to say that Digne's left arm was by his side, and the impact kind of flew it out there. And, it kind of made it look like Dina hit it, and then Dina spins away and all of that. So you're kind of going, okay, and all right. So um, that's loud. Wow, that's horrendously loud in my ear. Okay, uh, so you see that in the 30 minutes to go, and I'm looking at one of those YouTube shorts, and I'm waiting for the guy actually to play the tape so I can see what's going on. And it is a chip from inside the 18, and it gives the impression, but once again, this is still to still and away. This is not full video. So, uh, okay, hang on. All right, it's just, man, that was loud. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, one day ago, was it the worst card of the season? 7 years ago, all this stuff with Luca Digne, man. But it's not anything recent. So I've got to look at it, and no, it's not Southampton. Okay, so is this the worst ever FA Cup decision? No VAR on this one, and so yeah, Digne's left elbow is up, and he's kind of defending himself, but it is not within the silhouette. So that one was given as just, well, not a handball inside the 18. Um, then you end up with Kavanaugh awarding a free kick outside of the box instead of a penalty. Kavanaugh's showing has prompted, according to Paul McInnes at The Guardian, a new round of debate regarding the value of VAR. I think if you had VAR, you wouldn't have had all of the things go boom that did in the Newcastle Villa match. FA Cup uses VAR from the fifth round. Eddie Howe, after the match, suggested after the Villa tie that match officials had begun to avoid taking difficult decisions because they're accustomed to VAR being there to correct any errors. That's kind of taken a long walk, but I'm like, don't know. And that's the thing, is that we kind of got into the idea of pundits yelling about it, and it was, pundits are yelling and screaming about the scrapping of VAR, and you're kind of going, really? You want to go that direction? I really don't think you do, because you start conflating ideas and thoughts and things, and you're kind of going, I don't know if that's really the way to go here. As Jason said this morning in Morning Espresso, just because you have a night like this, means that no, you don't go back to the way it was beforehand and think of it like the 1970s, where you don't have VAR. No, you don't want to do that. That's not what the deal is. User error, as Jason said this morning in Morning Espresso. And if you don't subscribe to Morning Espresso, you can go to soccerdownhere.net and you can subscribe to it on Beehive. So Jason this morning criticized wrong decisions, absolutely criticized poor protocols and inconsistent application. Yes, but arguing VAR should be eliminated, damaging to the game. User error is not system error, and that is absolutely true. Referees are inconsistent. That's not proof that the video review should disappear. And so it was, you had Jason focuses on the Serie A match that we'll get into in a bit. But to say that refs are, afraid to make calls because they're used to having VAR, I think that you're selling the application and that job position short. Refs have bad days. Yes, I know that you could have corrected it in VAR, and I would say that, but the thing is that if you don't have the capability like today with Macclesfield and Brentford, God bless Macclesfield for making it as far as they did, an own goal with 30 to go was the only score on the board. Brentford advanced. But if you can't have it in every building, then you can't have it in any building. And so that's where we are with VAR and camera positions and such. So Eddie Howe thought that refs, he kind of couched it a little bit. There's an argument to say that because when VAR is there, there's always I won't give that, but let's check it. A lot of times, I mean, shoot, we had a referee earlier this year in the Premier League who waved off VAR. So I don't think that's necessarily a fair assessment. I think that he goes, then I think then your decision making maybe isn't as sharp as it may normally have to be. Isn't that kind of a backhanded slap? It's like, well, you'd be better if you didn't have VAR. Well, you don't want to be in a position where you don't have it. You need VAR because the game is advanced to the way it is. Speed of the game is different. Equipment is different. People are different. Players are different. You need VAR. You need it to be implemented properly. But in the FA's case, that won't happen until this next round. We'll go over the matchups in a sec. House said he was torn over the use of VAR. Well, if you're torn over the use of VAR, then go back and play in the 1970s. You need VAR this day and age. You really do. And to sit there and throw the baby out with the bathwater, to borrow a cliche, it's $1 in the jar for me. Now, I think that you're selling the game short. You're also selling the ability of your on-field officials short. But Eddie Howe's like, yeah, that joy you get in that moment, I still really love, and VAR takes it away. But then on the other side, I was wishing there was VAR on the first goal against us and probably throughout that game. So you can't have it both ways. But Chris Kavanaugh has been told to stand down. His number one AR standing down. His second AR is going to be busy this weekend. But then you get to Serie A and the Kalulu ghost second yellow red. And that was when we got into the discussion this morning about the idea between embellishment and simulation. This was a ghost yellow if ever there was. This was simulation. This was not embellishment. This was simulation. No contact, it's like very little contact, and you end up with a second yellow. And, player goes down, and obviously all hell breaks loose. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. And it should not have been a second yellow, should not have been a red on Kalulu at all. So Lorenzo Tondo, Guardian again. The referee, Federico Lapena, has received dozens of death threats after wrongly sending off a Juve player at Inter on Saturday. Italian police have reportedly advised him not to leave his home. And I would also hope that if the Italian police were worth their salt, they would find out about these death threats and prosecute these people to the fullest extent of the law, because this is stupidity down here to the nth degree. Stupidity down here to the nth degree, and you start doing death threats. Frankly, I hope that the Italian police find each and every one of these individuals. I hope they find them. I hope they're charged to the fullest extent of the law. And if they're found guilty, then they need to never be in a possession of a phone or whatever they were doing with their death threats. A. And then B, you don't need to be in another match ever again. Ever again. I don't care. And yes, I know that goes back to our longtime discussion that we've had about implementation of such a decision. How are you going to make sure that the guy doesn't look up like Bobby Valentine or, Stone Cold Steve Austin or anybody that, masquerades as somebody else, and then they take the outfit off, and then it ends up with chaos and everything going from there. They need to be found. The Italian police should do their job. They need to find these individuals, FIND, charge these folks within the fullest extent of the law, because this stuff should not happen. What kind of an example are you setting inside your family, A? And then B, what kind of example are you setting for anyone around you, fans, what have you? Yeah, I got a death threat to an official. Classy. Find them, charge them, make sure that those were individuals, if those were the individuals that did it, charge them fullest extent of the law, whatever it is in Italy. They ain't going to another game ever again. I know that you probably would have to have wanted posters or what have you, find fancy ways that you're getting in these days. But those individuals should have nothing to do with attending a soccer match ever again. And if they are if they're members of a particular team, like paying the dues, you can keep paying your dues all you want. I'm going to fine the daylights out of you. And you might not be able to afford being a part of the club anymore. but you're not going to a game ever again. You're really not. And I hope your families are proud. Really hope your families are proud. So La Pena, for those that didn't see it, dismissed Kalulu for the challenge on Bastoni. Bastoni clearly simulated. I mean, it was foot up. Bastoni is slight contact, and then Bastoni goes down, tree in the forest. Juve officials and fans argued the decision was that the decision heavily influenced the game. Inter 1-3-2, and the Bianconeri fought back to level the score with 10 men. After the match, La Pena was subjected to a barrage of abuse on social media, including dozens of death threats, some directed at his family, with users posting messages such as, quote, "I'll shoot you, I'll kill you, and we're coming to get you. We know where you live." Seriously? I'm hoping that these folks can be found. And seriously, I hope that they are found, and I hope that they are charged within an inch of their legal lives. Referees filed a formal complaint over the online attacks, and according to several Italian outlets, including La Repubblica and Sport Mediaset, police have advised him to remain at home for the time being. According to sources within the Italian Referees Association, La Pena could face a 1-month suspension. Reports from figures close to the AIA suggest he could be stood down after what the Serie A chief refereeing officer Gianluca Rocci described as a clearly wrong decision. Juve players appealed for VAR, but officials aren't permitted to review second yellow cards. And that's what this was. Bastoni on a booking should have received a second yellow for simulation. Rocci said via the AIA, La Pena is mortified and we stand by him, but I have to tell you the truth. He wasn't the only one who made a mistake. Yesterday, there was a clear simulation, the latest in a long series, in a league where they try in every possible way to deceive us. Bastoni was also subjected to abuse online, prompting the defender and his wife to disable comments on his social media accounts. He had celebrated after Kalulu's dismissal, a gesture some supporters deemed unsporting, leading to calls for him to be dropped from the Italy squad. Chiellini, quote, "You can't talk about football today. Something unacceptable happened." At halftime, and this is a video that you see where you have Chiellini and Comoli and Spalletti, the Luciano Spalletti, the manager of Juve, the club's chief executive, Damian Comoli, and the Juve director of football strategy, Giorgio Chiellini. They're all at the bottom of the stairs. They're waiting for La Pena to come down the stairs, and literally it looks like Damian Comoli wants to take a couple of swings. And I mean, he wanted to take a couple of swings, no question. Had to be restrained. Spalletti wanted to recognize the situation. He's spiraling out of control, tried to push him away. Juve lost 3 points. Italian football lost much more. Comoli said Comoli and Chiellini risk disciplinary sanctions. Zielinski scored Inter's winner from the edge of the area in the 90th, 7 minutes after Locatelli equalized. So I would anticipate that in addition to the AIA, that there's going to be a couple of envelopes sent to our friends at Juve. Bastoni's probably getting one. Chiellini's getting one. Comoli's getting one. And the manager, Spalletti, is getting one. Varying degrees, don't get me wrong, but I think that Comoli, who had to be restrained, the club's chief executive, officials are coming down the stairs, and they've got, security around them and dudes in warm-up suits and stuff. They're coming down the stairs, and Comoli has to be restrained by individuals on either arm. And they're kind of like dragging him back. You see the scene. It's almost like in Ghost when Tony Goldwyn gets found out. And Patrick Swayze sees it and he goes, "Oh, Carl," that moment. That's what it looked like. Comoli is being grabbed on either arm, and he's being pulled back away from the bottom of the stairs. And like I said, it looks like that moment in Ghost with Tony Goldwyn when he gets pulled away. So I'm thinking Comoli gets one. I'm thinking, and if La Pena hadn't already got one, he'd get one. So La Pena's getting one from the AIA. I think Comoli's getting one from the governing body. I think that Serie A is sending him a package. I think that Chiellini's getting a package. I think that Spalletti's getting a package. I think Bastoni is getting a package. It's like from DHL, 4 separate packages are heading to Juve. One's heading to the AIA, or it's heading directly to LaPena's house. But yeah, it was a bad weekend for officials. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. So it was it was a pretty ishy weekend. In Spain, I don't know if you saw this. Legitimately, Rayo Vallecano, you you have a building that you can't play in. Your building you can't play in. Your stadium is referred to as, it literally is being referred to as unusable. It is an unusable venue. And so Rayo out in the streets as a part of protest in the independent Republic of Vallecas. Team and coach 10 kilometers south, basically 25 miles away. Training ground unusable, home ground declared to be so too. So the game with Atletico and Rayo Vallecano was played at Getafe, 22 miles away from their normal arena. They prepared at Getafe's place and played at Leganes's joint. 9,000 empty seats, and they smashed Atletico de Madrid 3-0. And so it was absolutely crazy that you had this result with Rayo Vallecano. Friday morning, they showed up at their practice facility, took a look and left. 4 hours before kickoff, La Liga announced the postponement. A week later, La Liga decides, pitch isn't ready on the 7th, pitch isn't ready on the 15th. Team was preparing at Getafe's HQ. They had to go to Leganés. And at Leganés, 5 tables were set outside at Rayo's training ground so season ticket holders could queue for a ticket. Supporters groups were calling for a boycott. Mariachi band stood at the gates and was singing a song called Rat on Two Legs. Rat on Two Legs. And that was not really a surprise that it was named and sung in, not honor, but it was sung toward the president and owner of the club, Raul Martin Presa. Supporters want Presa out. Presa then, in turn, has called the supporters of Rayo Vallecano drunk, brainless, and idle. And so the president and owner of Rayo Vallecano starts complaining about the fans. Not the first time, but he's complaining about the fans, yelling at him because they want him to sell because the team is in such dire condition more physically than anything else because of their training ground being just Literally 2 weeks ago, Rayo Vallecano sent out an official communique discussing that, and this was to the Spanish Footballers Association. 2 weeks ago, Rayo Vallecano's players, the first team, said this about the fans and their current situation that they're in. Fundamental pillar, one of the club's greatest assets. They talked about loyalty and support and that they deserve, meaning the fans, greater care and consideration. During the preseason, the squad was unable to train at our sports city for nearly 3 months due to the poor condition of the fields, forcing us to leave the facilities to train on a field that met the necessary conditions to perform our work professionally. Directly affected daily work. Months later, and due to the weather, it wasn't possible to train on our training ground, having to find a solution by training on a synthetic turf field outside the facilities due to the poor conditions of the ones inside their sports city. State of the grass at Vallecas Stadium has been clearly deficient, a situation that has worsened with each passing week and has been reflected both in previous matches and in the situation experienced 2 weeks ago, just hours before playing a new official match. Unstable and unplayable playing surface forced the team to train at the sports city. Believe that the playing field does not meet the minimum requirements to play a top-level match. Situation compounded by deficiencies in the facilities we use daily, such as the lack of hot water in the showers on certain days, cleaning that has not always been adequate, and outdated facilities that do not meet the standards required by a top flight club for proper professional performance. We wish to emphasize all these points have been previously brought to the attention of the club's president on several occasions. However, the solutions promised and the explanations received so far have not effectively resolved a situation we believe cannot continue any longer, as we see our physical safety and basic working conditions at risk. Squad and coaching staff fully focused on competing and defending the Rayo Vallecano badge. Because of this commitment, they believe that the time 2 weeks ago had come to publicly state that the situation has to change. Providing decent working conditions, caring for an exemplary fan base is not an extraordinary requirement, but a basic responsibility for a club that competes in the first division. So that's the mess that Rayo Vallecano is in. And so being in that mess, what do? They go to a stadium 22 miles away and thump Atletico de Madrid. Can't use their training ground, can't use their stadium, don't have hot water consistently. President's calling the fans drunk, brainless, and idle. Pressa doesn't want to sell. The drunk, brainless, and idle. It's a torn-up pitch, dried out. And this was 5 months ago from Sid Lowe at The Guardian. And they were in the Conference League. Captain hands over the armband in protest over treatment of staff. Stadium has failed building inspections. Plug sockets sat open, wires exposed. And this is Sid Lowe's wording, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it from the article from 5 months ago. Bird shit is everywhere. Seats are broken, toilets overflow, taps don't work. And the players love playing for the badge. And apparently this is by design, the way that owner and president Raul Martin Pressa wanted it. He wants a new ground paid for by the local government, a decision that Coach Inigo Perez, speaking for everyone else, says would be devastating. Sid Lowe said the pitch is so bad as to be suspicious. It is municipal, but the tenant has done nothing to care for it. President has always seemed to despise the fans. Feeling is mutual. And Perez has been in the middle of the whole thing. So, Andoni Iraola had likened it to organized chaos. Andoni Iraola's assistant denied a work permit by the UK Home Office. Has taken that on. Volume over precision, no bus parking. Rayo players pouring into the space behind the Barcelona backline. And so Rayo Vallecano, at the beginning of the season, was playing in Europe. Team president and owner hates the fans, wants a new stadium, wants the government to pay for it, isn't fixing a thing in his old barn, isn't fixing the training facility. Where are standards and practices when it comes to La Liga? Why is this guy still allowed to own this club? So all this stuff is wrong at the stadium. All this stuff is wrong at the training facility. You don't have hot water on every single time you turn on the tap, that you need to take a shower. You have to go to a stadium 22 miles away to take on Atletico de Madrid, and what do? You whooped up on them. You absolutely whooped up on them. And with that win, Vallecano is toward the bottom. They are through match week 23. Oviedo and Levante are kind of adrift at the moment. Mallorca, Vallecano, Elche, Girona, Valencia, Alaves, and Sevilla. Basically 12 through 18, 7 teams separated by 2 points and goal difference. So Vallecano is going to be in this fight for the rest of the season. Players want to play for the badge. Team president and owner basically is telling the fans to go perch and rotate. I ain't fixing a thing. I want a new stadium. I want the government to pay for it. And despite all that, you had Rayo Vallecano's players take out the belt and take Atletico de Madrid behind the woodshed. Fans in revolt, can't use your stadium. You go to a La Liga B side and you shut out Atletico de Madrid. Good on you. Absolutely good on you. And I'd love to know, like I said, I'd love to know standards and practices for determining an owner and whether or not that owner is still okay to own. Basically, that's kind of what I'm staring at. So, good on Rayo Vallecano. Keep an eye on them for the rest of the year, and we might end up doing picks of the week and trying to adopt them to give them the SDH bump. I mean, we might do that. So, be forewarned. If there are Rayo Vallecano picks, you'll know why. FA Cup draw was at 1:30 this afternoon, and we were waiting for the end of the fourth round, and Macclesfield was close. They were so close. It was great to catch up with Rob Smethurst after they knocked off Crystal Palace. They played Brentford today. 20 minutes to go, an own goal by Sam Heathcote, and that was the only goal of the match. Moss Rose was packed as it should have been. Great showing by Macclesfield, 116 places below Brentford. Macclesfield in the National League North. And so, once again, you had Macclesfield in their home crowd, and they were hanging in there the entire time. But you end up with that own goal, and that was the difference. That's the beauty of that tournament. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, and you came in close. But hell of a run for Macclesfield, and it was a packed place at Moss Road this afternoon and at the leasing.com stadium, which looks very turfy. But now we know the matchups in the next go-round of the FA Cup. Fulham hosting Southampton. Port Vale and Bristol City, they're going to go because it's going to be a while before they go because, once again, stadium situation, and it was an unplayable stadium situation. So that matchup has been postponed until, when was it postponed until? When is it? Next match. March 3rd. So the week leading into the matchups is when Port Vale and Bristol City are going to wrap up the fourth round. They're going to go in the fifth round. So the matchups as we have them: Southampton at Fulham, Sunderland's going to go to Port Vale or Bristol City, City's going to go to Newcastle, Leeds and Norwich, but Norwich at Leeds, Arsenal at Mansfield Town, Liverpool at Wolves, Chelsea is at Wrexham. And they had the draw live, like 1:35 in the afternoon, our time, earlier on Monday afternoon. And you see Ryan Reynolds sitting there at the computer. He's sitting there at at his terminal, at his laptop, and the draw is happening out in the open air and everything. And he sees that they drew Chelsea at the racecourse ground, and just the look on his face, and you hear like all the bleeps and everything. So, Wrexham's getting Chelsea. Good luck on finding a ticket. And then West Ham gets Brentford. So that's the 17 teams and the 16 spots as we get ready for the fifth round proper draw. In and around the weekend of Saturday the 7th and Sunday the 8th of March. So all of those matchups, but the one that screams out at you is Wrexham hosting Chelsea. Wrexham hosting Chelsea. You like apples? How about them apples? Literally, Ryan Reynolds was stunned. He was stunned. And so now, 5 years, they're in the playoff discussion, reached the final 16 for the first time since 1997. And Hugh Jackman was sitting next to him at the time of the draw. So Hugh Jackman, and they were not in their Wolverine, and they were not in their superhero outfits. But it looked like Hugh Jackman was having himself a warm beverage, and Ryan Reynolds was staring at a laptop. Chelsea to Wrexham at the Stoke K-Ras. Oh, look, a big old plate of food, too. Looks like a salad, maybe. So Hugh Jackman staring as the tablet that Ryan Reynolds is staring at is telling him that Chelsea is coming to the racehorse ground. That's going to look incredible. That's going to be a great moment for that particular club. To have that kind of a matchup, and like I said, good luck finding tickets. Good luck finding tickets on the 7th or the 8th of March. And Ryan Reynolds basically dropped an F-bomb in the FA Cup draw. Good for you. Good for you. Absolutely very cool. So, you're looking at that, and that's going to be fun. But once again, Mansfield getting Arsenal in the 5th round, Wrexham getting Chelsea, and Macclesfield getting that close. That close. 116 positions between the two, and you end up with that group right there. So, good run for Macclesfield. Like I said, if you missed it, then it was a really good, maybe if we do this, maybe this would be why. Let's see. Let's do this. What have we talked about the most here? Let's do this. Nothing like changing everything and not changing the title of the actual show. And so let's do this. There we go. Yes. So there we go. Updated. There it is. All right. So let's see if we update it. And does it change in the hosting of? See, does it change in? No, it doesn't change it. Well, darn. Okay, that's what I get. You sit there and it's like you're going to be on the air, but then of course you forget to sit there and you forget to change the actual title. So good for me. Good job. Way to go, John. Nice job. It's a Monday. All right. A couple of other things before we get into picks of the week. Luis Enrique is not a happy man. He is not a happy man. And remember, we also have Champions League. The knockout phase starts, first legs. Start tomorrow. We'll get into juice boxes in a sec. Ousmane Dembele had comments after their loss to Rennes, lost the top spot in the table to Lens. Dembele accused his teammates of being too individualistic, and the team having lost some of what helped turn them into European champions last year, saying if we play as individuals, it won't work. Luis Enrique comes back after the press conference, after the match, and he says, the players' statements after the match are worthless, absolutely worthless. So are the coaches' statements, but the players' statements are worthless. I'm not going to answer any question from a player, any response from a player. I will never allow any player to be above the club, so it's clear. I am the person responsible for the team. I will not allow any player to think he's more important than the club, not me, not the sporting director, not the president. So these statements are worthless. They're the result of anger after a match, and I think that's clear. We have nothing to lose. And Luis Enrique is 100% correct at the end of the day. We play as individuals on the pitch, it won't work. We won't win the titles we want. Last season, we put the club before everything else, before thinking about ourselves. We have to rediscover that, especially in these matches. We know we're in the second half of the season. PSG has to come first, not individual players. And so Luis Enrique, Dembele is not wrong, but there are times to say it and there are times not to say it. As they get ready for Champions League coming up here first round of the knockouts already in the Champions League. Man, I probably should ask what you guys thought of the actual format in the Champions League. But here we go. It is 4 matches tomorrow. And once again, this is first legs. 4 matches tomorrow, 4 matches on Wednesday. 12:45 is your early one. Galatasaray and Juve. Juve favored at a plus 114. Galatasaray plus 234. Chance for our gentleman scorer to make a larger name for himself here in the knockouts against Juve. I like Galatasaray in that one. I really do. 3 o'clock are the other 3. Benfica, Real Madrid. Benfica plus 273, Real Madrid a minus 112. Dortmund a plus 108 hosting Atalanta at a plus 241. Monaco hosting PSG. PSG a minus 200. Monaco a plus 490. And your draws a plus 367. We might blend into picks of the week, but these first legs, they're all kind of like, 12:45 on Wednesday, Karabag hosting Newcastle. New striker from Karabag in Columbus for Crew. Karabag is a plus 600 hosting Newcastle is a minus 244. The other 3 at 3 o'clock. Did you see Nico Contour's live shot from Bodo Glimt as they were clearing off the snowdrifts? Inter heading to Bodo Glimt. Give me the draw to plus 305. Inter minus 141. Bodo Glimt to plus 353. Plus 305 in the draw. Club Brugge and Atletico de Madrid. Atletico de Madrid a minus 110. Draw and Club Brugge basically the same at a plus 275 at a plus 278. Olympiacos at home at a plus 154, hosting Bayer Leverkusen, who's a plus 179. Draws a plus 234. Once again, these are first legs. It's 2 legs. Reverse fixtures coming up shortly thereafter. But once again, just remember, first legs and Bodo Glimt is at home. We've also got all the Europa League round of 16s, and those are on Thursday. And I'm thinking one of those is probably going to end up being one of our picks of the week. Yeah, it's probably going to be that way. So all 8 matches on Thursday. Thursday? Yes, Thursday. Thursday, all 8 matches in Europa League. Then, when's Europa Conference League? Is that the same time, or do they push that back a week too? Nope. Okay, so that's also Thursday. So all 8 Conference League matches are Thursday. Most of the margins are pretty wide. So I don't know if we're necessarily going to go there. But we might go into one of the leagues that's attached to it. So you have Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday. You have Europa and Europa Conference League on Thursday this week. So we'll keep an eye on all of those. The one note that I wanted to get into that was kind of soccer over there, and I'll probably mention it again tomorrow. There were some reports that you had Wallace Yan. Wallace Yan is being linked in reports to Atlanta United. And Wallace Yan is he would be a U22. He'd probably be in the neighborhood of 20 million. But there was a report floating around, Mundo Bola, Flamengo, and others. So Mundo Bola, Flamengo was reported that Wallace Yan might leave Flamengo. 2 MLS teams are interested. One of them allegedly being Atlanta United, the other being NYCFC. Wallace Yan is out of favor at Flamengo. Information released by Ekrem Konur. Now, Ekrem Konur at Sports Boom, and I feel like I should have the Saxa Boom here for this one. But once again, Sports Boom doesn't have a whole lot of followers. But once again, you're looking at Ekrem Konur, who does. Refers to himself as a global transfer news expert. Caught offside, Fußballdaten, BBC, 4-letter, Gold, Diario AS, Mundo Deportivo, etc. Ekram Konur, on the other hand, 243,500 followers. 10 hours ago, so here's the, and literally it was an article that he flipped over to Sports Boom. So they're all kind of blending together, but Ekram Konur himself has 243,000 followers on the 280-character app. Wallace Yan attracting serious interest. NYCFC, Atlanta United exploring moves under the young DP. It'd be the U22. Wolves, Brentford, Everton are monitoring, and this is a 20 million euro plus potential summer battle, according to Konur. So follow him if you wish, if you got the space, on whichever platform you want. So keep an eye on Wallace Yan. Note on Wallace Yan, by the way, reason he's fallen out of favor, you go back to the end of the window. And from our friends at One Football, Flamengo had halted negotiations with Red Bull Bragantino over him. According to Globo, returned to the club to train, not working with the group. Talks had stalled, and he'd even gone as far as saying his goodbyes to teammates in the club, then had to return because of a contract impasse. The farewell and then the return caused some angst in the building. And then he was at the Ninho do Urubu on Friday and on Saturday. Out of the Supercopa do Brasil, will not travel to Brasilia, did not. Flamengo, at the end of the month, have a full squad available, taking Saul to be a part of the group. Youngster stayed in Rio, trained away from the club at the end of the month. And this is, once again, 3 weeks ago. Club had discussed a fee of around 10 million euro, with Flamengo keeping a percentage. The Rio side said the proposal changed when formalized on paper. Flamengo had argued Bragantino altered the payment structure, extending and changing the installment dates. Bragantino considered that the schedule had been agreed across the talks. Flamengo's president, BAP, did not approve the model. After the match in the Carioca, Yan spoke in a farewell tone in the dressing room. Later, after facing Bangu, confirmed he was leaving. And then he didn't. In the academy under Felipe Luis in 2024, promoted 33 matches, 7+4, part of Libertadores and Brasileiro winning squads, went to Qatar for the Intercontinental Cup. So Wallace Yan currently out of favor. Keep an eye out on this. So Wallace Yan and Flamengo. Konur saying 20. Right now, a lot of folks are maybe thinking 13, 14. Flamengo and Bragantino, and this is where Mundo Bola adds to the mix. Formal proposal was 10 million euro, sent with installments, different from those discussed verbally. Bragantino maintains it fulfilled the agreement. Bragantino intended to pay 5 this year, and the remaining 5 only in 27. Flamengo wanted the amount in a shorter time frame, smaller installments and conditions more favorable by Wallace Yan. Disagreement over deadlines ended up cooling negotiations between the parties. Only Bragantino has made a formal offer to sign him. Name was also linked to Genet, but according to Mundo Bola Flamengo, that information is incorrect. Flamengo has already completed a recent negotiation with Atlanta United. Once again, Mundo Bola Flamengo. Club now showing interest in Yan. 23, Flamengo finalized the purchase of Luis Araujo from the North American team for $9 million in a signing requested by then-coach Jorge Sampaoli. So keep an eye out. Wallace Yan, Flamengo, if you want to put that in your searches for player pickups, possibly for Atlanta United. So Wallace Yan. Let me go to Transfermarkt just to get the other numbers. Wallace Yan, transfer. If I could spell transfer. Transfer Market. Just to get the background for you on Wallace Yan. Where is he? It's like Wallace Yan, and he's got 1 million followers on the Insta, following 470. So Wallace Yan, Transfermarkt, popularity ranking. I don't care about his popularity at the moment. I really don't. He's got a 64 out of 100 on his, and he's 18 years old, by the way. 18-year-old center forward. Brazilian, by birth. Main position, center forward. Can play as a 9, plays a false 9, and attacking midfielder. Market value is at its highest currently at €6 million, and it has been that way for almost a year. So Flamengo, the current value is at 6. If Atlanta United was interested at 10, and then you're looking, 13, 14 million for a very, very young. So he's 21. I don't know. Why do I say he's 18? He's 21. So born in 2005. Contract expires at the end of the calendar year in 27. Last contract extension was in the middle of July back last year. So current market value, according to Transfermarkt, €6 million. Right now, Atlanta United, according to reports, would be looking to pay twice that value from Transfermarkt for a 21-year-old center forward from Brazil. Player agent is Guadagno Sports. He's playing at Flamengo currently. And Guadagno has 13 players, and they are all Brazilian. And right now, Wallace Yan is the top valued player for this agency. For Guadagno Sports, Wallace Yan at 21, highest rated market value at that agency. All the players are Brazilian by nationality. So keep an eye on Wallace Yan, attack, center forward, second striker. So 9, false 9. You can play the attacking midfield. Stats, just so we have them. I love pop-up windows. So all seasons. Statistics for Wallace Yan at the age of 21. It was so he's been in 3 competitions so far this year, this calendar year, 1 assist. 2025, all comps. Once again, all these are with Flamengo. 21, 23, 26. 26 and 12 is 38. And it is 8 goals, 4 assists last year. 2024, wow, he played in a lot of competitions. 2, 4, 6, 8 different competitions in 24. 31 comps, 31 matches, all comps. 8 goals and 10 assists. And then in 23 in the U20s, it was 5 appearances and no goals. So Flamengo under the U20s at Flamengo, 39 matches, 9 and 10, 38 matches with the first team at Flamengo, 7 and 5. 11 goals, 11 matches at center forward, 2 and 2. Attacking mid, 6 matches, 4 and 2, and he has played second striker, and he has played in the midfield. But center forward is where he has spent the most of his first team minutes. So Yan said his goodbyes at the end of the window. Deal fell through. He's had to come back and sit and might be out of favor. What would Flamengo want? That's the question. Would a 12 or a $13 million number, which would be double his current appraisal at Transfermarkt, would that be enough? That would be the question. So keep an eye on Wallace Yan. So I got to write down Wallace Yan. I have a pen. Does anybody have a pen? I have to remember Wallace Yan. Okay. Wallace Yan, and we'll keep an eye on that. All right. It is that time. You know what? That means we get to play another fancy graphic, another fancy open created by Jason. Here we go. I love that horn section. I don't care what anybody says. I love that horn section. And wherever Jason found that tune, kudos to him. Are you serious? I don't have a pen over here. How can I do a segment and not have a pen? Please hold. play amongst yourselves for a minute. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to play the open again just to kill some time, and it'll give me 30 seconds to get a pen. So here we go. Okay, I got a pen. I legitimately, I was shocked that I didn't have a pen because I went out and worked out and I moved a lot of things, and that's where we are. Okay, so as always, it's eight matches and a tiebreaker, and I will leave the tiebreaker up to, well, unless the tiebreaker is thought of quickly, we'll come up with a tiebreaker on the weekend, and it will be MLS based. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what my thought is, unless the Twitch pitch comes up with an idea that is Twitch pitchy based, and we would have that like they did with the Daytona 500 make that had the most cars in the top 10. I don't know how many of us picked correctly that it was Ford. I thought it was going to be Toyota. And Jason and Jarrett, one of them agreed with me, one did not. So like I said, Jason's got all the picks and he has all the math and he has all the things. So we'll discuss our winnings, but since they're not here, I won. There you go. That was simple. Now, we got to get into picks of the week. Once again, 8 matchups and the tiebreaker, and I know what I want to do for the tiebreaker unless you tell me differently by the time we get to the tiebreaker. So, we have in the, let's see, tomorrow. Is there anything worth anything? Not really. So tomorrow in CONCACAF Champions Cup, just to announce the matchups, just to have them out, I am not selecting them. I'm not selecting one of these to be a part of it. Nashville travels to Atletico Ottawa, 8 o'clock. They're the early one. And Nashville obviously favored at a minus 196 in the first leg. Atletico Ottawa is a plus 403. And 90-minute draws plus 342. Not touching it. Also, Real España, and this one's going to be an interesting test for LAFC. LAFC is having to go to Real España for leg one, but they are favored at a minus 109. And Real España is decidedly an underdog. And for Real España, Los Orinegros, or España, they are the Golden Blacks, or La Máquina, the machine. Los Catedráticos, the professors. La Realeza, the royalty. Los Carboneros, the Coleman, or La Academia, the academy. That's a lot of nicknames. Real España, Real Club Deportivo España, plays in San Pedro Sula in Honduras. We've seen them a few times in CONCACAF Champions Cup, CONCACAF Champions League. But they're going up against, low left in your bracket, either Los Orinegros, La Máquina, Los Catedráticos, La Realeza, Los Carboneros, or La Academia. They're all playing LAFC. 14 July 1929, 96 years ago. They play at the Estadio General Francisco Morazan. 20,000 capacity, and the manager is Justin Campos. So they were first in the 2021 Apertura in the Liga Nacional. But, yeah, Real España taking on LAFC. The juice boxes in that one. Where are my juice boxes? Over here. Plus 271, draws plus 240, and LAFC is a minus 109. No real surprise there. But, no, those are not any of the selections that we have for this particular matchup. So we got to find us something on Tuesday. So we will We'll pick a Tuesday here. We got to figure out a Tuesday. And let's see, do we go in the AFC Champions League again, considering just how much of a pain that was? None of us did anything in that league at all. So none of the matchups are blowouties or anything like that. So, tell you what, here's what let me see if AFC League, Champions League 2, let me see if there's any 17, 18. Okay. All right. So we'll start on tomorrow is Tuesday. So we'll go Wednesday. Wednesday at 1:15 in the afternoon hour time. We'll go back into AFC Champions League 2, and it will be Al Ahly Doha and Sepahan. Al Ahly Doha and Sepahan. And considering how poorly Ratchaburi helped us out in leg number 1 against Persib Bandung, Ratchaburi took Persib Bandung out back. It was 3-0 in that first leg. So we're not touching that one, but this would be just to win the leg, not necessarily the match. But it was 2-2 after the first leg in Al Ahly Doha and Sepahan. Al Ahly Doha a plus 154. 90-minute draws a plus 213, and Sepahan is a plus 146. So with that matchup, this is once again second leg. First leg was 2-2. So I am going to go, I'm just going to go straight up chaos out of this one. I'm going to go 90-minute draw. I'm going to go 90-minute draw on that one. So we'll see what happens there. Now, and that gets us to Europe. Was it Europa League was the one I was looking at? Yes. Okay. And so then after that matchup, let me see, what time was the Champions League 2? Champions League 2 was at 1:15 in the afternoon on Wednesday. That is the 18th, right? Yes. So at 1:15 in the afternoon is number 1 match. Number 2 match is in Europa League. And will it be over by the time our Europa League match starts? 1:15? No. So you're going to have to be paying attention to 2 things at once. AFC Champions League 2 and the Europa League. Europa League is number 2, and it's Ludogorets and Ferencvaros. Ludogorets and Ferencvaros. Ludogorets is a plus 168, and this is just for the match. 90-minute draws plus 225. And Ferencvaros is a plus 160. This is the first leg in this coming together of Ludogorets and Ferencvaros. So this is the first leg in this in the Europa. And I'll go draw here too. Because I just think that Al Ahly, Doha, and Sepahan, it's going to be cagey. And I just think it's going to be the same at Ludogorets, Razgrad, and Ferencvaros with our friend Stephen Glass. So those are your first 2. Both of them are on Wednesday. AFC Champions League 2's at 1:15. Europa League's at 3 o'clock. So now that gets us to Thursday and matchup number 3. So we can't pick that one because their league isn't happening really quickly. Oh, wow. There's a lot going on there, but that's too early in the morning. So I couldn't get that figured out in time. Okay, so do we go to Brazil? We can't because there's nothing going on until Thursday, and then they're off for 6 days. So we can't go there. like I said, I'm working on this in real time, and we're trying to figure out what it's going to look like together here. So, um, morning, evening, Lokeville. Um, I have not gotten Lokeville's got the new jerseys for Atlanta. I have not gotten mine yet. And what's on the back this year? Depends. I haven't gotten mine yet, Lokeville. I am probably going to be getting them, and it might be coming from two places. There might be one that goes into a frame that would look like the others that I have, and one that is not going into a frame that would have nothing on the back. So if I get them as I get them, I will display them and I will let you know what's on them. And in the years past, I have gotten the jerseys with my name on the back, but they go straight in frames. So that's kind of how that's I don't unless I don't have anything else available. I do have like I said, I do have the ones that I wore last season with when I was doing the stuff with Mercedes Benz with the Hoff. I do have those. Those don't have names on the back. I have just the flat out 5-stripe, and I've got that hanging in the in the in the thing. Why can't we get the coach? What do you mean? Why can't we get the coach? What do you mean? Why can't we get the coach? Let me know about that. But yeah, so if I'm getting a jersey, but did you try to put Tata Martino on the back of your jersey and MLS said no? Is that what happened? Oh, intravenous neighborhood. Oh, you're getting blocked. Intravenous neighborhood's getting blocked. Intravenous neighborhood K. I don't know what makes intravenous neighborhood K any different than intravenous neighborhood J or L, but you're getting blocked because you're a bot. You're a bot. And you know what? As a bot, you're getting blocked. Viewer solicitation bot. There we go. 23 characters and out the door. Okay. You can't get Tata Martino on the back? Are you serious? You can't have like Martino as a choice? You can't put like Martino and 17 or Martino and 26? Well, what if your last name's Martino? Just a fast option pick, and I forget about them as an option sometimes. Well, but I mean, okay, and this is something that has annoyed the heck out of me. And there are times in leagues where you can't get the one that you want to get. Ended up with Saba. Okay, I mean, I'm down with that. I can get that. And this is something that bugs me as a California Angels fan. I don't know how many of you know this story. Can fully customize it, sure. If you can't get, well, actually, tell you what, let's workshop this real quick because now you got me curious. Okay, we'll get back to picks in the week in a second. Okay, so MLSstore.com. Okay, so MLSstore.com. English Atlanta United SC. Okay, so if I want to get a Spirit of 96 jersey and I want to personalize it, I want the new one. I don't want the, okay, so the Adidas tan. All right, so add official on-field authentic patch, shipping details. Okay. Oh, here we go. Most popular. Replica custom. Alzate, Barakal, Brennan, Togashi, DCQ, Matt Edwards, Fortune, Gil, Gregerson, Hernandez, Hibbert, Jakob, Latelot, Mihai, Miranchuk, Tristan, Santi, Will, Saba, Cooper, and Aiden. Or, so if I go 17 Martino, if I go 17 Martino, it's thinking. You're thinking too hard. Oh, okay. It gave me Martino. Okay, so it gave me Tata. It gave me Martino as a number on the back. So you can get a Martino. Okay, so you can get technically, you can get, if you personalize it, but you can only go 10 characters. So it's either got to be Martino or 2 characters are required, and special characters are not currently supported. So, literally, you can't get a dot, which is dumb. How can you not get a dot? But you can get a Martino jersey specialized. You can get a Martino 26 if you get it specially made. You can get a Martino 26. Okay, so yeah, fully customized. But it's not available as a default option. It's got to be one of the players that's on the. Okay, so 17 Tata is an option. Okay, so if you go 17 Tata, okay, cool. So, and this is something that has bugged me. So if you fully customized it, you could get a Tata jersey. Okay, that's cool. So I am a California Angels fan. And for the life of me, I have not been able to ever get a Nick Adenhart specialized, customized jersey. And that bugs the crap out of me. I can't get a Tyler Skaggs either. And those are 2 situations that are annoying the hell out of me that I can't personalize. And I would pay MLB shop or MLB store, whatever it is. I would pay for the customization so I could get either a Nick Adenhart or a Tyler Skaggs jersey. If I wanted to get a Nick Adenhart jersey and you could have the money go to his estate or something, or a charity of his choice, and the money for Tyler Skaggs jerseys goes to the Tyler Skaggs Foundation or something. I can't get a Skaggs or an Adenhart as an Angels fan, and that bugs me. It's like not available, and whatever the jibber jabber is that comes out of MLS, that comes out of MLB store, you can't get it, and that pisses me off. If you are paying for a customized jersey, you should be able to, if it's player related. I mean, not like the messaging that some folks will sit there and do, and they'll cuss with a name on the back. I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a player name. Like if I wanted to get like a Herb Washington Oakland A's jersey, I'd like to be able to get that if I wanted to. I don't think I can. And I'm sure that the owner of the San Jose Earthquakes probably wouldn't let me get one anyway. But it just bugs me sometimes when you can't get the jersey that you want. And I'm glad that you can personalize an MLS jersey to have it say either Martino or Tata. And that's a good play by Major League Soccer to let something like that happen. So very, very cool. Glad that's happening. Pisses me off that you can't do it in other leagues and other parts of the planet with names that you want. And that's just annoying as hell. So, like I said, that's just me venting my spleen about things that you can do and you can't. So, all right. Let's see. Do we go? Let's see. Do we go there? Do we want to go there? All right. So Thursday is the 19th. And tell you what. Yeah, we'll go to the first one on the board. We'll go to the Liga Profesional in Argentina. And that will be on Thursday, 3:15 in the afternoon. And this is the other thing that I really love about the Argentine League is that a lot of times they will have games start in the middle of the afternoon and they'll go all night. So when you're on Fanatis at fntz.co/soccer down here, and you can dial up the Argentine leagues, literally you could be at like 3:15 in the afternoon and you keep going. And I mean, to give you an idea, on Friday. See, I can do that now because Jason's not here. They got a game at 4. They got a game at 6. They got 2 at 8:15. But in the Apertura at 3:15 in the afternoon, you have Defensa y Justicia and Belgrano at Defensa y Justicia. Defensa's a plus 179. Draws a plus 194. Belgrano is a plus 168. Right now in the standings in the Apertura, and remember how chaotic it can get sometimes, so just kind of hang with. Defensa is 2 wins, 3 draws. They have not lost in their first 5 matches in the Apertura. They are third in Group A, behind Independiente and Vélez Sarsfield on goal difference. Belgrano, on the other hand, is third in Group B. They have 3 wins and 2 draws and 11 points. But, once again, Belgrano on the road. Last time they were on the road, they beat Independiente Rivadavia. They won 1-0. Had a goalless draw with Argentinos Juniors on the road. And then won at Rosario Central. So they are 2-0-1 on the road this year. And Defensa at home has drawn twice. So Defensa at home has drawn. And Belgrano is 2 wins and a draw on the road. I'll go draw here too. It's just shaping up this way. I'm getting weird. So Thursday at 3:15, Defensa y Justicia Belgrano. I'm going draw. So now that gets us to pick number 4. Let's try and go someplace we've never been. Now we're into Thursday the 19th, Friday the 20th. And the Division 1 league in Ghana is not going to work. I don't know if we've been to Cyprus yet. Have we been to Cyprus yet? But the 2 games are kind of dogs. All right, so we can't go to Cyprus. We are not going to Cyprus, people, and I apologize for that. The Premier League in Azerbaijan doesn't play for another 8 days. The Primera Liga has one matchup that's a dog. Zakatala and Difal Agsu. I'm going to try and let me see if we can. The Costa Rican Primera. Clausura. Nothing there. Okay, so this is the downside to kind of picking and choosing as you're going. I don't want to come back there unless I absolutely have to. Tomorrow and Wednesday, our boys from Selaju are playing, and they're a big underdog on the road. Okay, so like I said, I know that we're done with Europa Conference League. So we're 3 matches in. We got 5 to go here, and I know what my tiebreaker is going to be, so we'll be in good shape. And let's see, Serie B would be decent on Saturday, so he might come back to that. Might do Serie B on Saturday and give Nick some love. That might happen there. So we'll keep an eye on Serie B. And let's see, have we done anything? No. Will that one fit? No, because that happened today. So that can't happen here. So nothing like trying to chase after Super Cups in countries like Lithuania. And when does that happen? Tomorrow. Crap. Well, it's a big underdog anyway. Like I said, I was trying to find something in the Middle East, and of course, everything is all like, nope, not going to happen. Not going to let you do that one. Let's say, so here. What about here? Can we get this one? We get something going here? Yeah, but they're not really. So Saturday might work. Okay, so Saturday morning, we'll come back to that. So that'll be. All right, so we'll do that one on Saturday, and we'll do Serie B on Saturday. So that would get us to 5 of 8. And you know what we've got to also do on Saturday and or Sunday. So that's 3 of them there. So 3 and 3 is 6. So I need 2 games in and around the planet because Saturday is going to be pretty jammed, and you know what one of them is going to be. It's going to be in Major League Soccer. I mean, obviously, it's got to be in Major League Soccer. It is something of a non-negotiable. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Well, we could do that one, but no, not quite. That was a thought. So we're looking for something. Friday the 20th is what we're looking for. We're looking for something on Friday the 20th before we go heavy Saturday and Sunday. And there are a lot of countries that don't have a whole lot going on, which is really disappointing. It's like, don't they know? Don't they understand that it's all about us trying to figure out who's going to win and who's going to do things? I need a Friday night game. No, that's not. Malta's not helping us out. Why are you people not helping us out? Seriously, why are you not? I need a matchup on Friday. I need a matchup on Friday. So, and thank you, Lokeville. It is good to vent, especially when you're trying to. You don't want to keep things. You don't want to keep things hanging on, but it makes too much sense, and it would make too much money. It literally would make too much money if they wanted you to. Literally, if you wanted to help out and do stuff for good, but no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Why? Because we don't want you to. All right, so the 20th. Give me a good matchup on the 20th, people. Actually, you might take this one just to, let me see where this is. Hang on. We might have a contender. 42. Okay, yeah, we'll go here. Okay. So we found us a matchup. And in this one, on Friday, we're going to the Romanian Superliga. We're going to the Superliga in Romania. And we're going to the 1 o'clock matchup on Friday. FC Botoșani and Universitate Cluj. And it's different. That there are a couple. There are CFR Cluj, and you've got Universitario Cluj. Okay, so here's where we get to have some fun. We're going to find out about FC Botoșani and Universitate Cluj in Romania. And here's the information on Asociația Fotbal Club Botoșani, commonly known as FC Botoșani or simply Botoșani. And I like their logo. I really like their logo. Reminds me, it's like a cross of the Salt Lake Stallions of the UFL, or I guess it was maybe that might have been the USFL. No, it was a double AF. No, it was so it was the double AF's Salt Lake Stallions, and that's sharp. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so Botoșani is a Romanian professional football club based in the city of Botoșani, Botoșani County, competes in Liga 1, the top tier of Romanian football. They were founded for the first time in 1924, 102 years ago, as Venus Botoșani. In 2001, they were reborn as FC Botoșani. Several predecessor clubs and years of instability for the football scene, they managed to materialize in 2001. 2013, first team from its county to ever be promoted to the top tier of the Romanian league system. First ever European appearance in 15-16 in Europa League. Botoșaneni play in predominantly white home kits, while their away equipment is generally blue. Home ground, the 7,782-seater Botoșani Municipal Stadium. And they are either known as the Botoshaneni, the Botoshani people, Ros Albastri, the red, white, and blues, or the Moldavenie, the Moldavians. Valerio Iftime is their owner currently. Their head coach is Leontin Grozaviu. So let me show you the logo, or FC Botoshani. All right, so let's see if we got here. So no, do I want? So here's their crest. No, I don't want. I just need an image of the crest. I don't want. So we will follow them. They have about 16,000 followers on the IG. So we need images of Botoshani. We need like the logo more than anything. I don't want stock images of the team. I need Botoshani Football Club. Categories. Sports. Botoshani Football Club. I got some. Where is and if I don't just get the logo here in a bit, then I'm just going to show you the crest from our friends at the Wikipedias. That's Universitat Cluj. That's not Botoshani people. Botoshani Football Club. Okay, so that didn't help. So Botoshani stock photos. This is from Getty. I just need the logo. Tell you what, why don't I just go to the website? How about that? We'll go to the Botoshani website and do it that way. And apparently there was a rebranding in 2023. Behance.net. Okay, so here we go. All right. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so now, according to, this is our friends at Behance. And so this is their rebrand in 2023. And so this is what their image is now. This is their image now. That's pretty sweet, actually. That's a pretty sweet image. That's their rebranding. So that's what Botoshani's logo looks like now, and that's really cool. So, Botoshani's mix of the Salt Lake Stallions and really snazzy red and blue, and trying to play like a chess figure, like a knight in chess. Then that's what Botoshani's logo looks like now. So, Botoshani predecessors. First traced back in 1919, Venus Botoshani was founded associated with the local Jewish Maccabi Sports Association. Venus made their first appearance in the Romanian pyramid in 3738. Following World War II, several name changes, Red Flame, the Textile Factory, and the Union in 1963, after which it became a regular presence in Division C. Throughout the 50s and 60s, subsequently won Division C in 74-75. 79 got their third promotion to Division B. Then 93, they dropped from Division C to the county leagues and dissolved. One of Romania's greatest ever players, Nicolae Dobrin, ended his career at CS Botoshani, played for the team for the 85-86 season, and was also the team manager. Then, post-revolutionary period of turmoil and corruption characterized Romania throughout the 90s. Football Club Botoshani, founded in 2001 by two businessmen, Salavastru and Savaicher. Support from the local council, started competing in Division C, 2004 promoted to Division B. In 2005, the president of the administration council, Valerio Iftime, took over main projects after the French model. Therefore, first team played in Division B, second team played in Division C. They also have a club for Center for Children and Youth prepared for the future of the first team. Since 05-06, Botoshani were transmitted live on the radio on Radio AS. And until the beginning of that season, not even a radio station transmitted live. Second division, 9 straight seasons. Promoted for the first time to Liga 1 in 2012-2013. And so Botoshani has been in Tier 1 ever since 2013. And so they've been in since 2013. The Ultras of FC Botoshani are organized under the name of Dark Hooligans, Renegati, and BT Pride. The main rivalry of Botoshani is with Foresta Suceava, but they recently developed a rivalry with Politehnica Iași. Okay, so that is FC Botoshani. So Botoshani is the home team in this match. And they are at a plus 127. Draw with Universitat Cluj is plus 208. And Universitat Cluj is plus 202. So the background on Universitat Cluj, if I could spell Cluj, FC Universitatea Cluj. Very, very plain. It is a U, literally. Asociația Sportivă Football Club Universitatea Cluj, or U Cluj, Romanian Professional Football League club based in Cluj-Napoca, Cluj County, competing in Liga 1. Șepcile Roșii, the Red Caps, Studenții, the students, or the Albnegri, the white and blacks, because that's what their uniform is most of the time. Founded 106 years ago as the Societatea Sportiva a Studenților Universitari. They had a refounding back in 2016 as ACSF Albnegru al Studenților Clujeni. 30,201, playing at the Cluj-Napoca municipality or the Babeș-Bolyai University. So the owners, they play at Cluj Arena. The owners are a combination of the Cluj-Napoca municipality. So the municipality actually has a piece of the action. Babeș-Bolyai University, established in 1581 as Academia Claudiopolitana, took its current form in 1959, Babeș-Bolyai, and the Supporters Association. They finished fourth in Romania last year. The Universitatea Sports of Cluj, founded just before Thanksgiving 1919. Abbreviated to the U. Patriotic warmth for every young Romanian university student to hold on to a holy duty to join the sports lists that are at the university's secretariat. First chairman was Professor Iuliu Haceaganu, a physician and politician who in 1932 said, "Our goal is not to create champions, but healthy people." Evening, Hutch. Not record, but harmony, not hate, but camaraderie, not personal victory, but the victory of the nation. Don't speculate, but sacrifice. Played their first game in 1920. And they've got a picture on the Wikipedias from a team that played in Paris in 1923. And so in their time, they've had 9 different name changes. And they've been FC Universitatea Cluj since 2017. So they've had a bunch of different versions of themselves. Former Cluj captain Mircea Luca's analysis about the club. Universitatea Cluj won and lost when no one expected. Even its victory in the Cupa României is the result of some calendar coincidences when the students found the maximum form through the laws of chance. You tried several times to be more than it can. It tried to forget what it was. It tried in the last resort to stop being you, sacrificing the lovely black horseshoe on its student chest in the name of wanting to be what it could never be. Universitatea Cluj will always be just a champion of unsettled enthusiasms. Can there be a more beautiful title? A champion of unsettled enthusiasms. 2015 in Liga 2, winter break, the financial situation became worse. Teams started to have bad results. Qualification in the playout tournament, no chance of promotion. Without any motivation, the team ended the championship on 10th place and relegated to Liga 3. 2016, a new beginning. Sporting society and insolvency, big chances of bankruptcy with an owner arrested for tax evasion and money laundering. No other solution than the formation of a new club. Cluj-Napoca municipality, which is the owner of the U-Cluj logo and record, terminated the lease with the company of Florian Walter. Then the municipality, together with the university and the Cluj Supporters Association, started a new project, ACSF White Black of the students from Cluj, ACSF Alb Negru al Studenților Clujeni, a name given to the new team because the society administered by Florian Walter was not yet bankrupt. Name of FC Universitatea Cluj could not belong to two companies. Cluj-Napoca rented the U logo, enrolled in League 4. In 2016, Walter Society had gone bankrupt, leaving the name free, but the bankruptcy occurred after the starting of the Liga 4 season. And so on May 11th of 2017, from 17-18, they went back to the old name, FC Universitatea Cluj, and they play at the Ion Moina was with first place they played, and now they play at Cluj Arena, and it looks like it was finished in 2011. So the history of U's fanatic supporters. Babeș Bolyai University, by the way, is the largest in the country with more than 45,000 students. So it's like maybe Ohio State or Auburn or something. First in 1972 appeared Amici U, one of the first supporters groups in Romania. Groups started to compose songs along with the Music Academy students and wear accessories like the well-known red hats or pins with the club crest. And so those years, Slava Ce Studenție was composed, being nowadays the club's anthem. And after the fall of communism, the Ultras idea arrived in Romania. First Ultras groups founded was the Vesha Guardia in 1996, followed by the Ultra Curva Groapa 97, Ultras 19 in 2004. And so they have 8 different Ultras groups. And so they have rivalry with CFR Cluj, one of the oldest in Romanian football, dating back to the 1920s. Other episodes of the rivalry, 2005, upset by the fact that Universitatea lost a match against UTA Arad. U fans injured CFR players at the hotel. Following a derby, CFR won and obtained their first league title. Universitatea was relegated. And the match was preceded by a corruption scandal because Steaua Bucuresti's owner offered U staff €1 million for defeating CFR. Second most important rivalry other than CFR and U Cluj is with FC Rapid Bucuresti. And there are others that are attached as well. Good friendship with Dinamo fans. So they have they won division. They won Liga 2 6 times. They won Liga 3 twice. Won Liga 4 in Cluj County, and they won the Copa Romaniei in 1964-65. It is mostly a Romanian side, and they have a Gambian midfielder, Mohamedou Drame, Alessandro Murgia from Italy, Andre Fabri from Slovakia, Jovo Lukic from Bosnia-Herzegovina, Isuf Makalu from the Ivory Coast, Elio Capradosi from Uganda, Dino Mikanovic from Croatia, and Jonathan Cisse from the Ivory Coast. They have other players under contract and a handful of Romanians. More than a handful of Romanians. A lot of Romanians out on loan. Anyway, okay, so that's your two clubs. Those are your two clubs, and I know we're getting kind of close to 10 o'clock here, so we'll go through the others pretty quick. So those are your two clubs in this matchup. FC Botoșani and U Cluj. Standings in this matchup, once again, Botoșani a plus 127 at home, draws a plus 208. U Cluj is plus 202. U Cluj, 45 points. They've won 4 of 5. They're fourth in the table right now. This is match day 28. Botoșani is 7th, and they do the dreaded split. Jared will be happy about this. 6 move on to try to chase a title. 7 through 16 fight amongst themselves. Botoșani is at 42 points. They can't make up their mind. Loss, draw, loss, win, loss. So if you believe in form, they're 3 points behind Cluj after match day 27. and they get the matchup at home against Cluj, who've won 4 of 5. I've got to go with Cluj here. So I will go with Cluj in this matchup. And that'll get us through our first 4. Saturday is a busy day. Saturday is a very busy day. We're going to start on Saturday the 21st in the Indonesian Super League. Madura United and Arema FC. Madura United and Arema FC. Madura United plus 156. Draws a plus 224. Arema FC is a plus 147. Stats. As we take a peek at it, look at the standings in the Indonesian Super League. This is where Persib Bandung did us wrong last week. That's what they are. They did us wrong in the AFC Champions League. They didn't do us wrong in this league. But here's what they are. Arema is in 8th. They have won 4 of 5, 3 in a row. They are now 8th in the table after match week 21. And they are 11 points clear of Madura United. Madura United slight underdog at home. Madura United has only 2 points in their last 5 matches. They're at 4-7-10, and they are 4 points from a safety. I don't think I've got a whole lot of faith in Madura United as a bit of a slight underdog, so I'm going to go with Arema FC. So we'll go with Arema FC there. And we will find out about Arema FC quickly. Let's see if there's anything here with Arema FC and Madura United. They play in Malang East Java. Ooh, I like that logo. The Mad Lions, the Singo Idan. The Mad Lions of Arema FC. So let me see if we have. So let's go here. You're going to help us out? No, don't want that. So if we go to their website, let's go to their website just to show what it looks like with Arema FC. Give me a logo. You're just going to give me the page. Okay. Well, let's see. Kabar Arema. There's a lot of things that you can't take into the stadium. No one under 5. No knives, no guns, no flares, no rockets, no lasers, no vapor, no smoke bomb, basically no smoking, no drinking, no bottles, and no lighters. So you can't take any of that into the stadium. But if you're interested in the jersey, which actually looks pretty cool, here's the jersey for our friends at Arema FC. There we go. So Arema FC's jersey, just to give you an idea, that's what it looks like. Not bad. I like the Arema logo. The Arema logo is pretty sweet. So let's do this and show you this one. Yeah, so here is the other page. Let me show you the logo for Arema real quick. Share screen. They won't let you do a hot change. So there's the logo for Arema FC. The Singo Idan, the Mad Lions. Legendary figure in Malang folklore called, let me see, so stop sharing. Folklore called Kibo Arema, who was a knight in King Kertanegara of Singasari's court when the latter ruled the kingdom in the 13th century. Kingdom's name relates to the contemporary Singasari district of the Malang Regency. Kibo Arema quashed a revolt by Kilana Bayangkara until all the rebels were crushed like leaves eaten by caterpillars. In the ancient book, Nagara Kurtagama, Kibo Arima was also cited as the one who ended the Kayaraja rebellion. Kibo Arima also led expansionary campaigns for Kurtanagara. The heroism of Kibo Arima is little known because history books focus on the achievements of Kurtanagara as the most prominent Singasari king. The team was formed 38 years ago. So, dig the fabled origin of Arima FC in Malang, East Java. Singo Idan, the Mad Lions. We'll follow them too. And so, Arima taking on Madura United. I don't think we can get better than that story. So we're going to go with Arima FC. It's been kind of rough for Madura United recently, so we're going to go with Madura United in the Indonesian Super League with the matchup that is happening this weekend at what time? 8:30 in the morning. So 8:30 in the morning on Saturday, it is Indonesian Super League. Now, then we said Serie B, right? So Serie B is Saturday also. And that is the 21st. So do we want to give the benefit of the doubt? Well, let's see, 9 o'clock, 8:30. I think we can do two things at once. We can do two things at once, can't we? So let's see which one is the better matchup, because there are two here, Mantova Sampdoria. Let's say Sampdoria and Mantova. Mantova's 23 points are in the relegation zone. Sampdoria 6 points clear. And Entella and Catanzaro. Catanzaro is 5th. They're in the promotion playoff. And Entella is in 16th. So 5th and Catanzaro, 16th, the 16-point difference in that matchup, and that matchup's got that number. We're going to go with, all right, so we'll go with Mantova and Sampdoria in Serie B because we got to clear the decks. Mantova and Sampdoria. Mantova's a plus 193. Draws a plus 190. Sampdoria's a plus 162. So once again, remember the standings. This is at Mantova. And Mantova is in 17th. They're in the relegation playoff right now. 23 points. They've lost 2 in a row. Sampdoria is 6 points higher, and Sampdoria has won 3 of 4. Sampdoria is making this one pretty easy. So Sampdoria is the pick there. That gets us through 6. Now, we have to go here. Major League Soccer. We're going to go Major League Soccer for your Saturday and your Sunday. Why not? Okay, so here's what we'll do. Here's what we're going to do. We've got all the matchups on Saturday. And what we will do is go to Houston. So let's see. So 1, 2, 2, 4. I think we're close anyway. Okay, so trying to do 4 in the major leagues, and I think I qualified with Europa League, Argentina, and 2 from MLS. Or if you go MLS and Italy and Europa and Argentina, I think we're okay. So MLS on Saturday, MLS on Sunday. So MLS on Saturday, 8:30. Houston hosting Chicago Fire. And this one's at Hell in a Shell. Houston's a plus 147. Draws a plus 250. Chicago's a plus 164. I'll go Chicago here. I don't know if they're going to get to full song yet in Houston. So that's why I'm going to go Chicago there. And Sunday for match number 8, LAG and NYCFC. Right now, LAG is a plus 146. 90-minute draw is a plus 260. NYC is a plus 160. Then I'll go draw in this one. I don't know. I mean, LAG, you look at their roster, and this is what LAG has done in the offseason. So let's look at what LAG's done in the offseason. And here's what LAG has done. And with NYC, we'll do the same thing with them. So here's what they've done in the offseason. LA Galaxy brought in Jacob Glesnes, Justin Hawk, Mateus Nascimento, Joao Klaus, and Eric Tommy. And Miguel Berry, Diego Fagundes, Zavaleta, Ricky Puig is still season-ending injury list. Zanka and Gino Vivi are out. They're done. So you've brought in Joao Klaus to be with Paintsel and Peck. They're your 3 DPs. NYC, on the other hand, has brought in Acito, Cooper Flax as a 2 homegrown signings, Tallis Magno, Mac Learned from MLS Next Pro, and Kai Troen from Melbourne City. Prince Amponsa, Alex Rando, Justin Hack, Mitja Olenich, Justin Fernandez on loan to Rosario Central, and Jovan Mijatovic to Eintracht Braunschweig out on loans. So you're scoring. It's coming from Nico Fernandez, Tallis Magno, Thiago Martins, Julian Fernandez is a U22, Mijatovic, and Agustino Heda. So is this offense going to get anything done against LAG? LAG, you're hoping. Frankly, I'd take the over in this one. I will go. I'll go wacky, crazy draw. How about that? So a draw in LAG and NYCFC. So that means the tiebreaker is how many goals are scored this weekend in Major League Soccer? How many goals are scored this weekend in Major League Soccer? Now remember, you have 15 matches. And I'll go 54. So that's a tiebreaker. So your matchups once again, and I will post these in the Discord. And you got to tell me who won also last week. AFC Champions League 2, Al Ahly Doha, Sepahan. That is on Wednesday. We're taking tomorrow off. Second leg, Europa, Ludogorets, Razgrad, and Ferencvaros with their buddy Stephen Glass and Robbie Keane. Argentina, Defensa y Justicia, Belgrano. Romanian Super League, FC Botoșani and Ucluj. Indonesian Super League, Madura United, Arema FC. Serie B on Saturday, Montova, Sampdoria. MLS, Houston and Chicago. And then MLS, LAG, and NYCFC. Your tiebreaker, how many goals are scored this weekend in Major League Soccer? So that is the rundown for everything on the day. That's Picks of the Week. Jason might have math, and he might let us know what's going on, and we'll see who won, although I'm here and I won. So there you go. I'll post these in the Discord and have fun with it. Tomorrow, on the morning show, it is the return of Casey White. She's coming in at 10 o'clock. But before that, it's going to be Alex Aldaz, the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, the U-17s. James Donaldson in net for the team that survived being 10 men and tying the Dominican Republic. And they made it to the U-17 World Cup in November in Qatar. So we'll catch up with him about that. Casey D, we're going to catch up with her. We'll get you ready for everything in Champions League, get you through the news of the day. And it's going to be busy from there. Wednesday, Jess Charman's going to join us, 9:05. Will Pelagic, we're catching up with him, the play-by-play voice for Charlotte FC on radio. We're catching up with him tomorrow afternoon. So Wednesday's show is going to be Jessica Charman batting leadoff. She's heading to St. Louis for the first match of the season. And it's going to be Jess, Willie P., and Dylan Butler. Then on Wednesday night, we've got St. Pius and Brookwood. We've also got the Red Clay Report at noon. We catch up with GMC Prep Jeff Davis and get a postmortem of Creek Cup from Kelly Bowler at Johns Creek. And we might have a surprise Wednesday night for the Thursday show. Thursday show, we're going to catch up with the Atlanta Amputee because they were named a fan. It was, I'm going to get the wording right. I'm going to get the wording right from our friends at U.S. Soccer. And also remember tomorrow night, 8 to 10, it's going to be Atlanta Soccer Tonight with all of us getting ready for Atlanta United's 2026 season. So, once again, U.S. Soccer, Atlanta Amputee Soccer wins the 2025 U.S. Soccer Adapt and Thrive Disability Award. So we're going to catch up with them about that. And we're also going to have Nino and Nico. That is on Thursday. Then Friday's the show of chaos. Before we head to Johnson-Gainesville, and Maddie and I are going to be doing the Dalton Johnson-Gainesville match. Our friends from Apple TV, they're dropping by, but I don't know who. And we'll find out. Our buddy Kirk Reynolds at MLS Soccer, he's lining them up, and we'll just find out who it is, and we'll talk about the season and get ready for it. So that's your rundown for the week. Tomorrow, once again, remember, Alex Aldaz, the head coach of the U17s, batting leadoff. KCD at 10 o'clock. Atlanta Soccer Tonight, 8 o'clock from 92.9 The Game, where we all get to talk about the regular season and the season coming up for Atlanta United. And we're going to have fun. It's going to be me and Abe and Jason and Maddie. And we'll find out who else is going to be there. I think, is Mike going to be there? Let's find out. So hang on just a second. I'll get you the rundown for and Jared. I think Jared might even be there. So Jared would be in attendance as well. So there you go. So that's your rundown for everything. Mike's going to join us. Got an interview with Chris Henderson. And we will get everything all lined up for you. So that's the rundown for tomorrow. Tomorrow's busy. Alex Aldaz, the U17s, and Casey White. Get you ready for the day. Update your juice boxes, everything else going on. And we'll catch up with Will Pelagic on tape for Wednesday. 8 o'clock, Atlanta Soccer Tonight, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. All of us are going to be there, and we're going to talk. Wednesday, it's going to be Jessica Charman, Will Pelagic, Dylan Butler, and perhaps a friend of the network on Wednesday night. We're taping him, and he'll be on Thursday's show. Catch up with Atlanta Amputee Soccer, Nino and Nico on Thursday, and then Friday's the show of chaos, and that's your week. We're there, people. It's the beginning of the season. It's going to be a fun run. So thanks to all of y'all for hanging out tonight. Thanks, Hutch. Thanks, Lokeville. Thanks, OG. And thank you, D. Graham. And thank you, Ricky. And we'll be back at it again tomorrow. So once again, 9:05. So in about 11 hours, we'll be back to discuss everything going on in and around Major League Soccer with friends and with U.S. Soccer as well. So from everybody here to all of you out there, thanks for dropping by one more time for another round of soccer over there here on the SDH Network. Back at it again, 9:05 a.m. tomorrow. It's going to be a very, very busy day and a very, very busy week. As we like to say around here, folks, mucho plats, y'all. Play it safe, and we will catch up with you again in the morning. I guarantee you that. Because when this comes up, it's the end of the day.